Hello there, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to talk about three fragrances from the house of Ahmed Al Maghribi. Now it's actually been quite some time that we've spoken about any of the Ahmed Al Maghribi fragrances in fact, and today's video we will talk about three super underrated fragrances from this house. Now somehow these have gone under the radar, and I own a lot of the Ahmed Al Maghribi fragrances, but somehow I've not been able to review these especially, but after a lot of requests specifically for a couple of the fragrances, I thought I should go ahead and do this video and talk about three beautiful fragrances from the house of Ahmed Al Maghrib that are very unique. They have, you can think about, they have an individual personality which is unique to each of these fragrances, and somehow they are wonderful to wear, and you might definitely get a lot of compliments as well. Now, one of the fragrances that I did find was something, truly like a hidden gem, and I thought, I really missed this fragrance for a long time. I've had this in the store for a long time, but I have not really come across this one. So I've been testing this, trying this, and here are three fragrances that we'll talk about from the house of Ahmed Al Maghribi that you will definitely find interesting. And if you like these kind of DNA, then you should definitely add it to your arsenal of fragrances that are there from Ahmed Al Maghribi. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into this review. And if you're watching this channel for the first time, then my name is Rodney. You're watching the Perfume Experience. I bring about Middle Eastern, Indian houses, and a lot more. And if that's something that you like, then definitely hit the notification icon so that you get notified on new videos that are coming. Alright, let's get going right after this intro. Alright, let's talk about the first one here. And this one, I looked at this fragrance originally, to be very honest with you, maybe a year back. But then since then, I have not really thought about should I review it, because there are so many Ahmed Al Maghribi fragrances and some really do get missed. And one of them was this is the green pearl, and there was a lot of requests for this video as well for this particular fragrance to be reviewed. And I must tell you that this is a super fragrance that is under the radar, or maybe overshadowed by other fragrances that are there in this house. Okay, now the green pearl is a beautiful looking bottle. It has this green granite type of packaging. It's a 80 ml, and this is from a concentration point of view. Let's look at what does it say. This is 80 ml and 55.60 volume, so it's about 45% concentration, which is what most Ahmed Al Maghribi fragrances are, right? So they're pretty heavy, right? Now the bottle itself looks very beautiful. It kind of looks like this. It's a very green colored bottle, okay, and it's got ThePerfume written at the back, and on the front here it talks about green pearl. Okay, now just because the name is green pearl, do not think this is a summer citrus, fruity green type of a fragrance at all. It does have, fruity nuances, but definitely not green kind of a fragrance. Okay, so initially I thought this might be duping the popular Tameen from the house of Tameen. There is a fragrance called green pearl, but I'm not too sure if that is the case. But I'll tell you what the note breakdown of this beautiful fragrance is. Right at the top, this is a very sweet fragrance. So when you do make a spray, okay, so this is very sweet right at the top. Okay, so you do get a very beautiful aroma of sweet citrusy. You can even think about orange blossom, like a bittersweet element. That is something that you do get. Okay, but definitely the citrusy orangey element is definitely there, and you do get a lot of fruits. Okay, now the fruitier accords here are in terms more like the pear, okay, and probably a little bit of an apple as well, a little bit of more of that juicy red fruity types that you definitely get. But I predominantly get two or three things here. One is definitely a very floral touch. There is a beautiful floral element here. There's a lot of sweetness in this fragrance, and of course there's a lot of fruity elements that is coming together. Those nuances are very dominant, right? So especially when I talk about fruits, it is basically an apple note, so it could be a red or a green apple mostly, and there is the fruity, the green pear. Okay, that element is definitely there, and you do get a very beautiful woody nuance to it. Almost feels like Palo Santo, which is there in the vintage radio. The Palo Santo note almost feels like that, but not really the case. But that's probably because there's a lot of cedar wood, there's a lot of muscular element, and there's a lot of woody elements that is going across with a lot of jasmine and a little bit of a rose vibe, right? So to be very honest, the opening, the first 15-20 minutes time, that's where there's a lot of sweetness that's coming from those fruity tones, and after which that tone completely goes off and you're left behind more of a lightly woody, lightly floral kind of a vibe, which is absolutely beautiful. Now this kind of a fragrance leaves a lovely trail. That's one of the nicest things about it. It might not project super loud in terms of like the other beast mode fragrances that they have, but it is loud. Nonetheless, you will definitely get about 2.5 to 3 feet of projection, no doubt about that. And for the first 20-30 minutes, it's sweeter, then it becomes a little softer, but the projection is still there for 40-45 minutes time. And after which, you will get a good lasting for about 5-6 hours time, easily going beyond that, wherein you get a very woody accord and a lot of floral element. Now the dry down is where you have a lot of ambery element, you have a lot of vanilla type of a powdery element, and you have a lot of cedar wood, and the woody nuances is very well captured. And if you are looking for a fragrance that you would want to wear, which if you like a lot of fruity type of fragrances and you like wearing something in the daytime, outdoor, you want to go for a wedding and that kind of affair, then the green pearl is absolutely beautiful. Very different, very refreshing, and it's not like Zellini. So if you are owning Zellini, you can still own this because the DNA is completely different. Zellini also has a lot of fruity elements, but there is a lot of musk there that makes it very sharp. Here it isn't the case. This is more well-rounded, more softer, and because of the floral and the pear note here, it has got a very beautiful woody element that you will absolutely enjoy. So definitely give green pearl a try. This is an 80 ml bottle and you should definitely get a lasting about 5 to 6 hours time on this one. Alright, another fragrance that was making a lot of raves was this. This is the Black Fume. Okay, now this came at the same time when the Frost Ice was released, and I covered that, but I missed this. I thought initially this was going to be Tom Ford's Ebony Fume clone, and for that very reason I kind of I did not actually look at it, but I was very wrong about this fragrance because this is nothing like that. But in fact this one is a very surprising one, and the box is very basic, black colored box. Okay, and this is also, I think this is 100 ml. Okay, so yeah, this is 48% volume and a 100 ml bottle. So 48% would mean that it's a 52% concentration. That would mean almost half of it is pure oil, and then the remaining is this, right? So this is how the bottle kind of looks. Very nice. It's very similar to the Frost Ice bottle. Okay, except for that's in a different color. This is in a different color. This has got the black gradient thing, and the juice is a little like an amber color juice. Okay, and you will notice that it's a pretty thick juice as well. Okay, now this one was a pure surprise because this was fantastic because it has a very unique DNA, something totally different. Okay, now this is a loud scent. Okay, now I mean this is an absolutely loud scent. It's like a beast mode kind of a scent. Now the Black Fume opens with a lot of leathery accord. That's the first thing that you notice, and there is a nice smoky earthy tone to it. Okay, there's like a lot of vetiver kind of a element as well. And then there is this light hint of sweetness that's coming from a tart fruit, specifically something like a raspberry. Okay, now aside to that, you do sense a lot of the leathery accord, which is that animalic, leathery, tart leather element. And somehow whenever there's a leather that's blended well with raspberry and all of that, it reminds you of Tom Ford's Tuscan leather, or one of Tuscan leather specifically, but not the case here. It has a little bit of a medicinal element as well. It has that medicinal type of vibe as well. But what changes here is the dry down. Now in the dry down, you get a lot of the earthy nuances, like a lot of earthy oak moss. You have a lot of mossy elements. You have a little bit of a green element as well. Now this is supposed to be an alternate of the Ortho Parisis Teroni. Okay, now the Teroni is also a beautiful leather fragrance that has a lot of oud, leather, raspberry, and those kind of nuances. Here also you do get a similar vibe. Now I do feel that the leather is very well blended here with the oud that is there, and because of which the oud is not the most dominant element here, but a lot of the smokier, leathery, tart vibe, especially with the raspberry note, is something that you get. Okay, now if you enjoy the leather by Ahmed, okay, or if you enjoy any other leather fragrances per se, then this is a fantastic fragrance. This is very well versed that way for a party, for outdoor type of thing. If you're riding, if you're driving, and you want a very badass type of a fragrance that you want to wear, I think, then this is capturing that essence absolutely beautiful that way. So that's why I said that I have 3 different personalities. The green pearl is more softer, unisex, casual, a friendly kind of a fragrance. This is totally out there, run wild. It's a wild kind of a fragrance, which is beautiful and smells really nice as well, because of that light sweetness that is there coming from those raspberry and the tartness that's there from those fruity elements. This one smells really nice. Now this one is a long lasting scent, unlike the green pearl. This one really does 7-8 hours and beyond on your apparel. You'll probably even smell it next day as well, and these ones are really, really good. Okay, so if you're looking for a very loud kind of a fragrance, then definitely give this, the black fume, a definite try. Don't miss this one, because it smells really, really good. Now the last fragrance here, this has been with me for a really long time, and somehow, like I said earlier, I've not really been able to come across this. This is the Oud Lavender. Now for the ones who don't know, this is a very unique fragrance, and for all the right reasons, I think this has been a underlying gem that has been in the house of Ahmed, and I've really not and I feel bad that I've not looked at this fragrance for long, because this one is what you call like a neoplin type of a fragrance, which is basically a two-note fragrance. This does not have heart notes, and this doesn't have like the base notes. It's basically predominantly a two-note fragrance, and like the name says, this is lavender and oud, all that is. Okay, but this is such a classy fragrance, because this kind of really opens up the nuances of a classic wedding type of a fragrance. And if you do like a lovely powdery kind of a fragrance that you would want, you enjoy that kind of a DNA, then this is absolutely wonderful. Okay, now this is also pretty potent, because one, I think this is a very lower volume fragrance as well. So this is again 42% concentration, and this, if I'm not wrong, is a 60 ml juice. Okay, or this is a 75 ml bottle. And what makes this one so good is just that two-note configuration, where you have the oud coming together, which is very woody and non-skanky, very pleasant, almost makes you think like you're wearing cedar wood, sandalwood type of a element, and then the entire note of lavender. Now the lavender here is very pleasant, it is very herbal. You can also think about it as a little spicier as well, not sweet, not overly spicy, but just the right amount of very neutral. Think about it as if you've eaten cheese, right? So cheese, when you think about it, we don't categorize cheese as spicy or sour, but it's more of a very balanced element, right? Something like that is how I would describe lavender as. It's a very balanced fragrance. And men can also pull it off, women can also pull it off, smells absolutely good. Now the lavender note here keeps continuing, and then it reaches to a dry down where you get a very woody, powdery kind of a dry element, which is absolutely bonkers on this one. Now, although this is supposed to be a two-note kind of a fragrance, this has other nuances as well, but very subtly. Like there are a little bit of a fruity elements that you can kind of get, a little bit like those light floral elements as well, but nothing which is distinguishable, or nothing which really opens up and brings it across. But I would say that for me, I find this as a very simple kind of a fragrance, although there is a good amount of oud as well on this one. But the very fact that this comes across as a very mild, almost linear type of a fragrance is what makes this very, very nice. When you smell up close like this, right, you do get those fruity nuances, or you do get other elements like floral vibes as well, like a little bit of like a jasmine or a hyacinth kind of a vibe. But what overtakes is the lavender, and it gives you that herbal powdery element along with that oud, and gives you a fantastic fragrance, which one easily lasts for 7-8 hours on your skin and on your apparel. This is a very high quality fragrance. Just look at the oil content of this one. I'm not able to show you if it can capture it clearly. Very high quality oil, and it smells absolutely good. This is the type of fragrance that you would want to wear for a wedding, you want to wear for party, something like that, which has got that typical Middle Eastern touch to it. It has that Arabic vibe to it, but at the same time, it's not off-putting in any way. Something that you can carry easily, and very unisex in my opinion. Give this one a try. Absolutely crazy fragrance, beautifully done, minimalistic yet very beautiful is what I would call oud lavender. And complete bad boy that you would want to enjoy is Black Fume. And you want a very casual fragrance that can get you a lot of summer compliment and all of that type of a vibe, then go for Green Pearl. All three of them I think are in the decants. I'm not sure if Oud Lavender is in decants, but I'm sure the Black Fume and Green Pearl is available. So give this a try, and if you like the like any other Ahmed Al Maghribi fragrances that you'd like me to review, do let me know, and I'll see you on another video. Until another time, take care. Bye bye.